Uh, mhm. I'm just live for a short time. Until the guinea pig breathes his last breath. This is how I look without makeup. That was a little much. You're a bad boy, Leo. You bit the guinea pig, and that's not good. No. When I said that, he went like it was the worst thing I ever said to him. We have a lot of flies, all so suddenly. Well, there's a guinea pig laying between my legs on his side. He just took a deep breath. He is passing away. Because of the neurological situation, I have him between my legs so it can balance him out. And he seems to like that. One in there. One of Leo's favorites. He's breathing. Just slow. Then every now and then there's a great big, just after this picture was taken. Well, just after this picture was taken, it took a deep breath. He's gonna get that fly. That fly. Right. think a dog catching flies is entertaining? If you do, I'll upload it. Oh boy. I kind of think it is. There's two. He's looking right at two of them. Well, that's a lot of poops coming out. Maybe one of these is edible. I know nothing about it. Every time I pick him up, he starts to get the neurological problems. So I want him to be comfortable. What a funny name. Uh-oh. He's peeing on me. Do you feel better? Yeah. it wouldn't let me edit. I mean, it wouldn't. The version of the video is from yesterday, unfortunately, will not work in my editor. So I'm going to have to figure out how to make the recordings work. Let's see, add media source. Okay. Browse. You're so sweet. Yeah. He's like, I think I can see myself in the reflection, he says. Yeah. little ink noise. Oink, oink. You gonna bite me? Oh, don't bite me. Whatever you do. OBS is giving us some problems, so we're recording. Yeah. Yep. Aren't we? He's so cute. The mannequin is missing out, I think. If you will, take screenshots of that, because I zoomed in. The mannequin, I think got lost in the last chat before OBS started disconnecting on us. That painting looks really dark from this view. It does. How you doing, bud? You're so sweet. Oops, my hand just twitched. That was a twitch. I'm like arching my back so he'll show up, because I think he's so cute. Especially under the chin there. Yes, yes, yes. Oh. Yeah. What's going on? Huh? What's going on? Hey, what up? See, that guinea pig is going crazy in there. Yeah, he is. He's going crazy in there. Hi. Hi. Hi there. The hideous objector says hello. The mannequin. Yeah. Says hello. If only he would look up. Like up here. Like up here. Without the shadow. Yeah. Like right there. Right up. Get the nose a little bit up. A little bit upper. A little upper. Just a little bit. Just a little. Ooh. yes, yes. That's it, that's it, that's it. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna zoom in on that and erase my face out of that for sure. I'm like all tense trying to hold him still. I can see his little paw prints. Yeah. Oh, so sweet. You ready to go back? Yeah? He's like, well, why'd you grab me in the first place? You look up for the camera. Okay? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's so sweet. Yeah. He's like, I think I can see myself in the reflection, he says. Yeah. Made a little ink noise. You gonna bite me? Oh, don't bite me. Whatever you do. OBS is giving us some problems, so we're recording. Yeah. Yep. Aren't we? He's so cute. The mannequin is missing out, I think. The mannequin, I think got lost in the last chat before OBS started disconnecting on us. That painting looks really dark from this view. It does. How you doing, bud? You're so sweet. Oops, my hand just twitched. That was a twitch. I'm like arching my back so he'll show up because I think he's so cute. Especially under the chin there. Yes, yes, yes. Oh. Yeah. What's going on? Huh? What's going on? Hmm? Hey, what up? Huh? See, that guinea pig is going crazy in there. Yeah, he is. He's going crazy in there. Hi. Hi. Hi there. The hideous objector says hello. The mannequin. Yeah. Says hello. If only he would look up. Like up here. Like up here. Without the shadow. Yeah. Like right there. Right up. Get the nose a little bit up. A little bit upper. A little upper. Just a little bit. Just a little. Ooh. So adorable. It's so cute whenever he lifts up his head. I think I was saying, you can do it. Look up. Look up, 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 up. This poor guinea pig is, crap. Okay, I will be right back. I gotta go change clothes. Because he peed on me. sorry. Sorry about this playing over and over in slow motion like this. Poof, I'm here. thank you. He's a sweetie. Carson is. Yep. Oh, you stop it with that slurping. He likes to slurp. Well, I mean, he's always slurping. Slurp, 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 slurp. He just realized I was saying that one too many times. Leo, my dog. He loves coconut oil. He really loves it. The taste and all. That's a good thing. Well, now he's just licking the bed he's laying on. He licks wooden floors too. Yep. 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 That's what it's for. This time. It's actually good for that, especially for cats. Of course, having a German Shepherd, I think it actually is good for his skin. Because naturally he is always chewing on his skin even if he doesn't have fleas, but this time it's a combination for his like skin and he just licks it and blends it right in, and so do the cats. I mean, Sasha did that. And Dave was like, what the heck did you put on her? I was like, she likes it. But that's, cats naturally are always grooming themselves, so they blend it right in. But Leo likes to belch too. He really belches. Really. You're still breathing. Yep. My mom went and searched some video and she was like, Jamie, this, there's apparently, well, she didn't say apparently. She said, there's this new thing. Look at just coconut oil. She actually went and bought coconut oil, and it was like the really stiff kind. You put it in the microwave and it just liquefies it. So what I did was I went and over to Dave's house where he where his dog likes to sit in the rocking chair, and I put coconut oil on my bare feet, and then like I just drenched it on my bare feet. Then I put my foot up and just stuck it right in the cracks where the fleas generally like to hang out. And I just waited, and a flea jumped on there, another flea jumped on there, another flea jumped on, and I was planning to get a lot of fleas on my feet and ankles, and just to test it, you know. And so I walked around and looked for any place where fleas would like to hang out, and gathered as much fleas as I possibly could. And I could see that there were very many, like freckles. My freckles. Oh wait, I can't even see what I'm doing. Anyway, the point is, like if you look up in the sky and see all these stars, that's how many freckles I've got. The kind that I can't count. Well, there were a lot of those on my feet. And I walked back next door. I was like, you know, I can't put flip-flops on. That's going to ruin this, or whatever it was. It would ruin what I want to show her, but I did anyway. So she was like looking, and she said, well, does it work? And I was like, you mean you don't see it? And she's like, well, I see it. Yeah. But anyway, what happened was, once the flea landed on the coconut, it just went and it did not exist anymore. It just stayed there. So there were just a bunch of deceased fleas on my foot and my ankle. So, and it was just coconut. So then I came back over, or I went over to Dave's house. At that time it was I came back over, because I lived over there at that time. So I came back over. I put this hard coconut in the microwave, because I was like, I don't really know how I'm going to do this for Leo, because he's a German Shepherd and like 70 something pounds, more, maybe more now. And I got a lot of coconut oil or coconut the actual hard kind. And once it was warm and melted, I poured it on him. He loved it. It was like, he just loved it. It's like he just completely calmed down. Probably because of the warmth or something, I don't know. But he started licking it, and then he liked it even more, and I had to go back and do a couple more times to make sure I got it on, I like would get it on his feet too. And I didn't always microwave it, because you know it's not, I mean, when it's liquefied like that, it's gonna just run right down. So I did get it on the area where he chews the most. It could be that he bites. I've learned that some dogs actually will bite on their bones because their bones hurt. I hope that's not the case. But yeah, I put coconut oil on him this morning. And he loved it. Of course, I didn't put it on his feet like that, because I don't have that. I mean, I have the liquefied version that my mom has this bottle of coconut oil that's so slippery. My goodness, it's so slippery. It actually repels flies too. If I have a problem with flies landing on certain things, I just take a little thing and just wipe it with coconut oil. It actually stays on there. It looks like little droplets for several days. And the flies go back and they're like, whoa, what's this? And they fly away. So I've noticed that too. But I actually think fly traps, those sticky things, they should actually make those to look fashionable, because I like those. They will fix a fly problem. Especially when there's a problem with the flies and you spray the place to fix it. They have nowhere to go, so they end up flying up into the trap where they then go zzz, zzz, and that's the most beautiful sound. You poor piggy. It's good for removing makeup too. I learned that from somebody in the Lion server. Of course, that person I like. I like that person. But I left the server, so lost contact with her. Anyway, it removes makeup very well. I had like this really there's this makeup thing, like lip gloss, and all kinds of makeup that stays on it stays for a long period of time. But I was just decorating my face, and so I had purple. Oh, please land up higher. Oh, I thought I got a false hope. That fly looked like it was gonna land right where I wanted it. Anyway, I had painted my face with this purple lip gloss type thing that really stays for a long period of time, and I had it all over my face. And she mentioned coconut oil, and I was like, I might as well try it, and I did, and it removed the makeup. I was pretty much amazed. I was very amazed. I don't know if it's good for guinea pigs, though. I should look that up. Not that they have fleas, but I mean, could be good for their skin. If it's good for them, then I would probably I wouldn't be afraid to like coat the inside of their chloroplast cages sometimes. Just this guinea pig is reminding me of when I but I don't think it's something I would put on anywhere around guinea pigs just yet. Just yet. Yep. Yeah, whenever I volunteered for a spay and neuter thing, it was like in a van, not a van, but a, it was a spay and neuter big vehicle, camper, something like that. Anyway, I volunteered for them, so they would travel and they would spay and neuter animals, and I saw them as they did their little prep thing, and they shaved their belly, and they put something around when they had a flea issue, to keep them from hopping over into where they were gonna make an incision. So I do remember that. I think they used alcohol. I think, but I don't think I remember that correctly. They said back then, they said things like for people who have problems, it's boric acid, but it's a different kind of it. It's like for the roaches It's the cheap stuff. Apparently there is a boric acid that's really, really the real thing. So I say, I don't know the difference, but it's the one that roaches, that are for roaches or something. Anyway, they say that if you use that, it stops, like the fleas don't like it. But I've noticed like roaches just come out of hiding. Why is my voice like this? I better not be getting sick. Really? I've never really, of all the things in the world, I've never actually looked up those things. I don't even know what a gerbil. I know guinea pigs are not gerbils, but I don't even know what a gerbil looks like. Foxes are pretty. There were foxes around here. Dave got somewhere he got a video when he used to feed cats. He used to do the, you know, the trap, neuter, return type thing. But he would go and feed cats. For some reason, his reasoning for it is, he said, I know what hunger feels like. And thankfully, he was able to forget that, because he would daily go and feed cats in every location he knew that they existed. So there were cat colonies. He was dedicated to that. Back then. Anyway, he got a video of a fox at one point. There were raccoons that ate cat food there. And when the vultures started eating them, I was like, you know, there's probably not very many cats there anymore. It's probably okay to not feed them all the time. Anyway, there was no rescues here for cats. They do have rescues for dogs. You have to foster in order to, you know, adopt out. But there's not in the animal control. So you could have 1 million animals and not get in trouble. Unless you don't, like, own the property or something like that. So instead of returning the cat to the dump, there were like many dump sites, like dumpsters. There were actually dumpsters in so many locations, and you would always find animals there, and they ended up being here. But they were spayed and neutered, and so it was like a sanctuary type thing outside, because there's a lot of land, and used to be kind of cool. But now it's a scary thing. It's like he's too scared to let any animal out because of the pit bulls. Our neighbor has a ton of pit bulls. So it's kind of sad. See, what's horrible is that it used to be um I hope that's not puke. I just hope it was like a belch. Okay. It used to be that the neighbors, they had 2 pit bulls, male and female, and they were spayed and or neutered. And there was no problem. They would get loose and you could just walk them right back to their home. And it was always that way. And then about a year ago, he had pit bulls, and I had just lost my dog, and I held one of the pit bulls, and he was just licking my face, just licking and licking and licking and licking. It was a itty bitty thing. And this was just when I had adopted Leo, and I had not, they had not brought Leo to me yet. So I was like, do I want one? Do I want one? Do I want one? And I ended up just saying, no, I'm gonna follow through with Leo, because Leo needs me. And I never adopted whatever with the pit bull. Anyway, the pit bull comforted me and didn't remember me. In fact, it was the boy. It was the nice one. It wasn't the female pit bull. Well, turned out that there were more pit bulls, and these pit bulls, the male and the female, were free roamers, and all of a sudden they just didn't care anymore about where the pit bulls were going. They were chasing cars, and I was actually worried about that because of the fact that they would just chase cars, and it would be impossible to drive out of here without them being a problem. And then they wouldn't deliver mail because of dog problem. Leo, they wouldn't deliver mail, and they would put a little thing in the mailbox saying dog problem. And I was like, that's just an excuse. But it was, there was really a dog problem, but I believe it was just an excuse then. But it was like a whole different story. I actually walked back and forth out there, trying to get the female pit bull to warm up to me. And I was like, it's so different. I don't know what's wrong with her. I was thinking, it reminded me so much of how Dahlia was, and I kind of joked it around with the owner and said, she's just like Dahlia, except it's whenever she's with the male that she acts like this. She just becomes like possessed, and I compared her to my mom's dog, you know, to make light of it, hoping he would understand. And he said, yeah, I know one day they'll I know she will get hit by a car, and they were petting him. He was petting her and saying, one day I'm gonna have to put a bullet in her head. And I'm like, wait, this is like after the fact. Like, I was just thrown off by that comment. And so it was like, that's where he is. That's his mindset. So that's how he thinks of this dog. Like, yeah, one day I'm just gonna have to do that, 'cause she got hit by a car or something, and I don't understand it. But I started to see that, you know, because this dog was not Leo. He has some kind of object for the cage. Because the dog was not being, like, you couldn't like touch her. She wouldn't let you touch her. She'd back up and she'd just be barking and barking and barking. That could have been a problem as I saw it back. The female is a vicious dog. Yeah, at this point she has become labeled a dangerous, vicious dog. All it takes is one more phone call. Apparently, she actually escaped her pen and charged at a sergeant who was responding to a call where I described a pit bull. They all look the same, but this pit bull who came running and attacked Leo had a pink patch on her skin, like she was missing hair. So she went and she spent like a large amount of time. She was thorough. That lady's, I respect that officer. Anyway, she spent a lot of time. I heard a bunch of dogs. I was like, man, there's a lot of dogs. And then I recognized the sound of the different barking. I recognized the barks of a few of the last dogs that were that she had them show. Apparently she had them show every dog or something. And the one with the pink skin jumped out of the fence all of a sudden, because he was telling her that they keep them in the fence and they don't get out, and which was basically just what they want to believe, I guess. Well, her time there, she spent time. The dog with the pink patch of skin got out of the fence. She saw it. She saw the dog come charging at her, and she went for her. And the owner got her right away. And she told me, thankfully, she said thankfully, which actually kind of caught my attention. Thankfully, the owner was able to get her right away, but yeah, that was an event. These dogs charge at me when they are out, but I'm not scared of dogs for some reason. And obviously I was not scared when this dog was coming and testing the hand, like the nip on the hand. And I was actually documenting it because I was trying to show, or I was trying to do a video, and I was going to show him, like, it could be dangerous. If, you know, it's like, this is not just something like getting hit by a car. This is like something that could get really bad. Like, this is not just, oh, well, she's just grouchy little thing or something like that. You know, his tone was so different. I was like, well, I started to send him pictures of deceased animals that became a problem. And I told Dave, I said, I would like you to go over there, you can rephrase it any way you want, because he's a nice person, and all I could think of was, next time I see, I'm gonna take action. It does not matter the circumstances. Next time there is an opportunity, I'm gonna take that opportunity. So Dave went over there, and he said he doesn't care. He doesn't even care. And so I ended up finding deceased cats, and every morning they would let the dogs out at night. I would see footprints all around. One thing I loved about Leo then, though, I would be in the room next door and I would hear a growl, and I would know right away they were out. The dogs one time, Lily ran free at that time too. So when the guy's father made the threat that if any one of his dogs went missing or something happened to them, that he would do that to every last one of our dogs. And so I took that seriously. I told my mom, because Dave already saw that their pit bull come running, and Lily was actually running from the dog, and Lily always would get the dogs to come out of their pen. She would run over there. But this dog went chasing Lily, and I imagine it was the female, the vicious one. And Dave was out there, and he actually was prepared, and he fired. And the dog put on the skids, turned around, and ran home. And Lily got back home, and she was like acting like she was, I don't know what's going on. What do I do? So she responded appropriately. But yeah, he probably saved Lily's life that day. But he told me about it, and that's a little dog. So they went after a little dog, didn't get a hold of her. Um, but that was the next level up, and I was like, I told my mom, I was like, you need to keep her on a leash. Um, she kind of didn't take it too seriously. She tried a little bit. Um, and then I played the audio where that guy threatened that if anything happened to one of his dogs, that every last one of ours would go. Um, and it didn't matter whether or not it was the dog happened to be on our property, harming the cats in the process. He didn't care about that. He didn't care about the fact that we had to defend the cats somehow. So my mom was made aware of what he said. So he kept Lily on a leash. She kept Lily on a leash, and so she doesn't go over there. And that's how it's been. The So we haven't had a problem. I've kept Leo always around here. I never let Leo out when Dixie's out. And I would always get mad when Dave would let them out. And he would always let him out. And so that if Dixie was out and Leo was out, there would be trouble. 'Cause they would go to the creek and who knows what would happen to Leo. I know that Dixie likes to pick fights. But at least she'll come back if she hears the sound of anything being fired. And she also she knows the visual. She sees that in anyone's hand, she just will turn around and she will go back home and she will stay away. So thankfully she stayed away. She was outside at the time, the very last incident we had here with the dogs. We had Sasha, the 17. Well, I kept saying 17, but she's been around since 2007, and she ended up being the last to be targeted by the dogs. And yeah, I left Leo inside and went over there because Sasha was like in the path almost by their house. So I imagine the dogs picked her up and brought her over there and dropped her just before getting into their yard. But I discovered that while I was driving out, and I was like, what is that? And then I looked, and all of a sudden the dogs come charging at me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna speed to get that pizza, come back, and the dogs were still out, and they chased me all the way past Sasha, and I left the pizza here, went barefoot. I didn't run, but I had something. Actually, I had two things with me, except for my phone, not my phone at that time. And I went over there to look at Sasha, and I went a few steps further and looked, and those dogs came running, and I went walking to the property. Then I turned around and missed. I always miss. But that was when the person's dad came out and said, "Who's out there? The blah blah blah." And I said, "We have a cat problem." And he was like, "Well, you don't have to do that to the cats." And I was like, okay, this is gonna be a problem. So I was like, well, let me go and call the police. I was yelling because that's how the conversation was going. So I went and got the phone and called the police, and I said, I need an officer here right away. They told me to stay on this property that's owned by us, and I said, I'm on the property. They are like, I'm across from their property, but I'm on our property. So when the officer arrived, I was still on the property, and I waited and waited and waited and waited. Then the officer arrived, and the first thing out of his mouth is, he said, "You have every right to defend to defend yourself." And he went over there and talked to them, and I told him that, or the officer, that when Dave finds out about this, I don't know how he's going to respond, because this cat was special. And so I overheard that old fart, the person's dad saying, it's not mine, not my dogs, until he can make that what I call a threat. Anyway, I heard him say that, and then when the officers came out, Dave was there, because I called Dave and told him to come on over, and he saw Sasha, and I asked the officer to walk over and just look at Sasha for me, and he looked at her, and I think that's what kind of got him, because she was healthy. And he said, and I love all kinds of animals, and he was just looking at her. But he said the very next time this happens, we will have to remove the dogs from them. So I hope there will not be a next time with the gray kitty, because we have a cat, fluffy cat. But there will be a next time, and I just hope. Actually, it's sad that there would be a next time, but he actually said that I have every right to defend Dave. Is actually basically the owner of the cats and the property. He's a friend, but he likes cats too much. Yeah. So and the property where I was standing was actually his property. This is my mom's property. But either way, I know that we have every right, either way. But I remember last time there was a problem, and I was determined. I was like, the next time, the very next time. And that was actually, an officer had responded. The dogs went after the sergeant, but the guy got a hold of his dog ahead of time, and she said, you need to keep them locked up. So he actually put leashes on them. So I heard silence. Because of that, I was actually scared even more, and I would go and pick dandelions. It was about that time period where dandelions were out and about, just before summer, just approaching summer. I would pick dandelions, and there was silence, and I started to get comfortable with it, and I came home from like searching and searching for any more dandelions for the guinea pigs. And then all of a sudden, just as Leo is passing, and he is like way ahead of me, this dog comes running, and she heard the click from the safety. I made that click, and then another click, and she went running, and I tried so hard. Because she attacked Leo, and I was like, oh hell no. So when she went running, that was whenever I ended up then calling the police, and they said, well, did you hit her? And I said, I wish. Or something like that. Anyway, that was when the sergeant showed up. Was when I tried so hard. Gosh, there's so many stories of this events. So many. A lot of them were through text message though. But I actually have a police report that the person who I communicated through text, he actually went there and the dog started chasing him, and he sent me a message and said, "Are these the dogs you're talking about?" And I said, "Yep, the ones that are chasing you right now." And yeah, I made him aware of a law about cats and how it's a felony to harm a cat like that. So this was after this guy threatened that if anything, or that it said that he just would remove them from like living. That why not just do that? The best, that even like the best kind of cat is a non-existing cat. And I'm like, I had my phone recording this. He didn't know it. But I was trying to talk to him about the problem, and he wasn't even, you couldn't even begin to get through to him. So apparently that's when I learned that it is a felony, even here, to do that to a cat. And that his dogs are a problem. The officer that last showed up said that he had recently had a very, very, very bad experience with a dog and human beings, and the way he was like shaken by that. And I remember hearing that on the scanner, but I didn't think anything about it, because anytime they say there's 10-11 problem, and I know that's dogs or animals, and usually I just move on with whatever I'm doing. But apparently that was a situation where they actually may take things more seriously with dog problems. But there's no leash law here. And now he knows that, but he knows, he better know that he ended up going back to the department because he was going to talk to the sergeant who experienced the situation. So she probably made them aware, or him aware, that it was a vicious dog. They all look the same though. He breeds those dogs. And he calls this dog Shug, like sugar. And then the male dog, he's nice whenever the female's not around. It's like a whole different story. It's like, why do they put collars on them if it's going to be so loose that you can't even put a leash on them and walk them back to their house? Because he doesn't want that, I guess. See, cats, sometimes I like cats, sometimes I don't. But Sasha was like, my very first video was of her. Actually, it's the video that is on my channel page where I said anybody else hung them. It was like a parody thing, but there was in the longer versions of that video, Sasha's in it. It's 2007. Actually, it was 2008 because it was like a Happy New Year, and then anybody else. So Sasha was around since they said she was 2 years old when she was spayed. So I guess 2005 maybe was when she would have been born. That's pretty remarkable. And she was still, they had almost gotten her before. I was like, what is all this stuff? You know, it was like watery blood on her, and I was like, oh, she probably got away. But they got another cat because one disappeared, and he said, the guy next door said, I see him all the time. So the problem is, in my opinion, is not a pit bull problem, but the owner. Because we've had good pit bulls around here. But there's not a one that's gonna ever enter this place with me present that's not gonna at least hear a sound. When the dogs are let loose, they get into all kinds of trouble, and it escalates. So it's just dogs who are allowed to do what they want. And it's worse in packs, when pit bulls are in packs. But I tried hard to get that female to trust. That time I thought it was a trust problem maybe. So I walked back and forth filming, and she, if I weren't filming, I would not have seen her go at my hand testing it. She would follow me around. She thought everybody's house was hers. She really thought it that. Those dogs would show up in our yard, and I'd be swinging a stick trying to get them to leave, and they'd just be barking at me. And at that time, it was like the last thing on my mind was what would be the first thing on my mind now. I got to that point, and I was like, if I ever see them, I actually was at the point where I wanted to walk into their yard, go right where the dog was, and just end it. I was so fed up. And I remember telling that to the officer. I was like, this is too much. This is something that's just out of hand. It's too much. And that's sad, because pit bulls are smart dogs. They're very cool dogs, and I don't like having to do this every time. Like, there's a bunch of them. I actually had COVID just as this, as I was like fed up. Just when I was fed up, I slept here and I was on guard. Any kind of sound, I would be up looking around. I would run out there. I would be ready. But it was like a extreme hypervigilance, I guess. Every kind of sound I would hear, I'd be like, where's that coming from? And every sound. I even found myself wondering that recently, because you know, it can sound like dogs barking in the distance, but it was probably something like I don't even know. And with so much property, it's like you can't really protect them, and he would let them out at night. So I knew, because they let the dogs out at night, I had to basically sleep over here without the earplugs. Then I had to put the earplugs back in because my mom would vacuum or something at night. And I just, ever since, I just wear earplugs. But I woke up one morning and outside the window was two pit bulls right there. I got up so fast. They heard the sound. They went running. The female started to come back, and the only weapon that I could find was one I didn't know how to use, so I was not aiming at them. But I was like, holy cow, that thing is loud. And it echoed. So there's like all this swamp and property. Not really property, it's actually swamp, like in the distance. And I watched the dogs, when the female turned back around to come back. That was when it worked. And That weapon is so loud. I never expected that from that type of a weapon. Anyway, the dog actually turned around to come back. The weapon worked, made an extremely loud sound, and the male dog was running through the bushes, and I could still see the female dog, and the sound of the echo made them jump even more because they didn't know if it was a second fire. But it was just one, and just seeing the dog jump again was that was pretty remarkable. And I didn't hear anything else after that. That was whenever there was silence. And the silence was so eerie that I just walked around and I waited and waited, and I had COVID at that time, so I spent a lot of time outside, which was good, fresh air. But yeah, I was hypervigilance for sure. I was pretty much, I had had enough. But nothing had happened. I spent a lot of time outside. It took, oh man, it took a long time for me to recover from that. People would hear me on the phone and they were like, "Oh, you got it bad." And I was like, yeah. I was shocked that they responded that way, because I thought it sounded worse, and whenever I sounded like my voice was cracking, and yeah, my throat hurt so bad in the first days of it that I literally, my goodness, I ended up asking my mom to call, because I just couldn't take it anymore. It was too much pain. It hurt to swallow. I had the Tylenol, it was not working, and I had already maxed out on that in such a short period of time that I just didn't feel right. So I went in an ambulance, which is, I like to say it that way for some reason. And they said they were going to test me for 2 different things. I think one was like tonsillitis and the other was COVID. And I was like, well, I've had not tonsillitis, strep throat. I was like, but I had tonsils before, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't have tonsils. Why would it be tonsillitis? Never mind. Anyway, I had strep throat a lot as a child, which also causes chorea. Huntington's it's that type of chorea, but not with Huntington's. Huntington's is like the worst kind. Anyway, it causes that. And I'm thinking that could very well be the case, because I always had strep throat. Always. So I said it's probably strep throat. But I didn't know. They came back and they said, you have COVID. And the guy did a fist bump. They gave me medication, and I was like, I was scared to get Dave sick. He started to have some symptoms, so I didn't go over there except to feed the guinea pigs. And then I would go over there sometimes to sleep and to hear the dogs. But there were multiple incidences where there were, like, my mom was in the hospital, so I don't think I remember anything happening while she was in the hospital, but I was on high alert around that time. She had nearly, they thought that she pierced her liver when she fell on a brick cement block. Andrew, Andrew that I talk about sometimes, he's neglectful in his duties. That cement block, he tried to back out of that, and I said, I have backup. And I was like, you better, it's already hell and high water, you better get done now. And I texted that from my mom's phone. And then later on, when we were driving home from there, he said, Miss Terry, you could hear it, like her phone is synced to the vehicle, so I heard it too. Miss Terry. I was like rolling my eyes. I knew he was gonna just try and sweet talk his way out of that. But I actually said, the path in and out is probably good because, she's they aren't letting her out. She's in the trauma center. She's been here for like almost a week, and so that needs to be fixed. And he didn't fix it till like a month or two later. That was about the time of the dandelions. Yep. He liked Leo, though. He ended up saying, I want a dog like Leo. Do you make dogs? I was like, he's been neutered. See, the problem too with them not fixing their dogs, a lot of problems result from that. When a dog is in heat, we get a lot of visitors, and he doesn't pay any attention to them. So I would hear these dogs barking in the background, and I would be like, I would think, I need to go on Facebook and say, if anybody is finding any of their animals gone now, like just in a terrible situation, blame this guy. 'Cause I could hear it for hours. Then their dogs would come home, and I would take any chance I got. It's terrible. It's terrible. Pit bulls are great dogs whenever they're really great dogs when you care for them. Of course, when they've had trauma, that trauma does not leave. They end up becoming bad, even though they're nice when they are all scarred up and everything. They end up turning into a problem later on. So that happened with one of the pit bulls that Dave rescued. The pit bull suddenly turned and started to growl at Lucy. Lucy was a black lab. He had no problem with Lucy before, and he started to act weird towards Dave when Dave wanted to protect Lucy. And there was a health department person here because the Chihuahua had bitten me, and he was separated for a period, and the health department person came over, and after the dog was separated, and that was whenever this took place, and he was like, oh, that's bad, and he said that the pit bull, whenever they do that, it's usually time to just say bye. But yeah, he was a nice person. I mean, he was like, yeah, that's bad. When they go after a dog, a female like that, something is, this psychological damage is really bad. Whenever the dogs, like the dog he rescued, clearly was in fights and clearly neglected. It was terrible. It was really terrible. Scars all over him, and he was so scared. It's really sad. But the dog was so good for a long period of time, and all of a sudden something changed. But if that health department guy wasn't here at that time, it kind of would have not really been, I mean, it wouldn't have been as insightful, because Dave was actually mad that he actually went after Lucy, because Lucy was a special dog, and it was strange for him to do that, and he wanted to protect Lucy, and Dave wanted to. Lucy, man, she was so beautiful, so sweet. I'm glad I didn't resort to holding this guinea pig, because I mean, he is definitely gasping, but it's more frequent now. Like, I don't see the breathing happening, so oh, the guinea pig? The guinea pig? This guinea pig, a few days ago, when I went in there, I was like, I thought, I was thinking it jumped over to the other cage, because these guinea pigs can jump. And I thought it jumped over to the other cage, but I really paid close attention to how many there were. So I went the next day to go. I went in there to look, and it was the same number, and I gave them their water and food, and when I came back with their food, I saw something on the floor like a hop, and I was like, what the heck? Then I looked in the cage, and I was like, it's the same number of guinea pigs. And I was like, oh crap. And so I had the food that I was gonna, of course I gave them. I'm getting the details switched, but it's still the same story. Anyway, I had the food bowl with me, so I knelt down and tried to pick up the piggy, and the piggy kind of ran off. And then I tried that a couple of times, then I just set the food down. And the guinea pig kind of went to the food, sniffed it, and I blocked him from being able to go back. And I picked him up and put him in where it was 4 guinea pigs and 4 guinea pigs. I think the fall was possibly the situation, because the last I know it wasn't dehydrated, because I mean he's peeing a lot, but the neurological situation is going on, so I think it was the fall. But there's like, the fall could not have been bad, because I have so many piles of just blankets and all kinds of garbage, dirt, I mean all kinds of stuff. But it could have been a problem. It could have been just a little bit too long with the dehydration. All it takes is 3 days with a guinea pig. Yeah, it leaped. Yeah, it leaped like one of the guinea pigs. We had a guinea pig that hopped like a rabbit, and it was different. It didn't walk. It hopped like a rabbit, and that guinea pig did not survive long, and had neurological problems and just basically went like this. And I tried to give that guinea pig water through a sipper tube. I held it and it drank. Then I put the guinea pig pellets and she would eat. And so it was just like she would go like this, and so I did the best I could. And then she stopped drinking and she stopped eating. And I was like, I put her in the other room, and I was like, my mom and I would both check on her and see if she was okay. I had hay right next to her mouth, you know, trying to see if anything, like if she would like eat the hay, because you know guinea pigs will grab that hay and suck it up. But she didn't do any of that. I was like, I can't wait 3 days. I can't watch this happen for 3 days. And it was the weekend. Of course, there was no vet available. And so I had to thank God that I it kind of reminds me of this though, with the neurological stuff. There's been guinea pigs that have had neurological issues and they'd get right back up. But every time that I've had a problem with a guinea pig, like that, I would wait till they breathe their last breath, and they would be very limp and I would know it. But I for some reason I feel the need to completely make sure that there is no breathing, that they're not alive, because I couldn't possibly. Like, I don't see any breathing going on, but it will gasp with air. So, this is not like that guinea pig that would just go like this, and then, like she ate, and then she stopped. I think she was born with something wrong with her leg. So she hopped like a bunny. And this one hopped like a bunny, and I was like, oh no. And this one, I put him over some water, and he did drink it. I was like, okay, that's good. But then it started to go like this and have the neurological problems. Really? You like to paint? Cool. Yeah, that's cool. Do you use acrylic or oil? Yeah, sometimes you just get the painting fever and it's just like it's just so compelling that you just gotta paint something. My mom likes acrylic. I tried acrylic so much, but I would try and do it like Bob Ross because I'd watch him just go like this, and I'm like, this, it's not doing it right. Like, what the heck is wrong? And then I heard him say, I prefer oil, and I was like, oh, okay. That's what the problem is. That's why I can't do that. Chalk, I used chalk to kind of mark where I wanted to paint, but it is messy. It's actually it's better for people who like if they have autoimmune disease, oil is it's very toxic for them, and they can't oil paint. So the chalk, I forgot oil pastels, that's what it is. They can use that and they can kind of move it around and blend it around. But acrylic, Bob Ross would use acrylic base, or like that would be the first thing. And it would be all kinds of weird shapes. And then he would do oil paintings over the acrylic. So there's people who actually will cover a canvas with black acrylic or gesso, and then let it dry, and the painting would look different. And I was like, wow, it does look different. Then I was like, nah, I'm not interested. This takes too long. There's all things. I mean, like my mom bought all kinds of stuff. Like she bought all kinds of things, like for acrylic and this texture art, glitter. Yeah, she has glitter. Oh man, she had every kind of thing. She still does, but I kind of stole it. And I'm returning it as I find it. She has this, it looked like coroplast, but it was foam. She had all kinds of new things that she was gonna use, and then she suddenly didn't want to paint anymore. But she has a lot of paintings. Mine would end up just being like they wouldn't ever dry. I thought I would do oil, then I would cover it up with the white acrylic, and then I would try and paint over it, and it just a lot of trial and error with me. But I stick with just oil now. That way, you know, you can always fix a problem. Like liquid clear is basically, yeah, that stuff is like magic stuff. It will blend any kind of paint or any kind of mess. And it's also toxic. But hey, it'll fix a painting, sort of. I've painted so much on that that you can actually feel the textures. Especially on that tree, that far tree over there. You can even see that there's so much on that thing that, well, you might not be able to see it right now, but it's definitely not a smooth thing right there. But that used to be an interesting painting according to Dave, but then I added blue and made it different. Or I made it like all of the rest of my paintings, which were dark. And I had somewhat of a landscape that's now looks like a green blob that I turned upside down. It's not showing. I have it hidden. For oil, yeah, I've been working on that one for a long time. Oh, the one in the middle. Yeah, I actually did that from a book with Crayola. Crayola pencil. Like my mom bought a lot of stuff to kind of make it easier to blend the acrylic and make it slow or dry slowly. But she would get all kinds of brushes, and I was like, brushes, oh my goodness, those are cool brushes. And so yeah, they are definitely things that she should hide from me. She had fancy brushes. That sounds cool. I have a hard time with perspective. But I love autumn colors, and so I don't want to touch that in the back in that painting because it looks like autumn colors in that. The right where the skyline is. or the eye level, the straight line. Yeah, I don't want to touch it because I love autumn colors. There was a time where I had an interest. Well, I don't know how I would think of it now, but if I had not ruined it, but it was autumn colors and it was like layers all the way down, and then I covered it up. I messed something up with it, and I ended up covering it. And I was like, I wish I didn't do that. Well, the eagle up there, way up there, is doesn't have glass covering it. The panda too. Something happened. I think what I did was I don't know what I did, but some kind of paint got on it, and I was like, oh no. And then I was like, okay, I gotta fix it. And so I fixed it, and I was like, I really need to not touch this any further, or else I'm going. So I ended up, thankfully I did not ruin it. But yeah, the paintings that I have hanging up don't have, they're framed, but they don't have any kind of glass to cover it, so there's no glare. And I like that, but thankfully I think I appreciate the lady who did the painting enough to not mess it up like that. But it is an extra canvas that's there, but it's not one I'm gonna use. But that eagle is something else, and the panda. Framing that, yeah. I should take that into consideration. Of how that would look with a frame, because I actually like to use that as a reference, because I want to paint that. I want to paint something like that on a canvas. Crayola, making that with Crayola was just it was a little weird. And that was like before I could even learn. I didn't even know how to do bushes or anything. And trees were just, oh, they were not something I knew. Definitely not something I could figure out. And I didn't know what palm trees looked like. I could not possibly paint one. And so I had to get my mom to say, I was like, does this look realistic? And she's like, that needs to actually have a little bit more of a hanging down type of thing. That doesn't look kind of like a, and it should be like, see, I didn't know those trees. So I'd watch Bob Ross and I'd watch his son painting and I would watch how he did trees. And then whenever he would do the highlight thingy, like all the way up, like go sideways, all the way up the tree, I was like, I'm doing trees forever. Trees, trees, trees. But it doesn't show highlights right now. But yeah, I then became very, very much into the trees. And ever since, all I like is doing the extra twigs and stuff. All obsessed with trees. He, I believe, oh, he's gone. No more suffering. Oh, he's gone. I mean, oh, it was hard seeing those last moments. Yep, yep. He's gone. The whiskers are twitching though. was making sure. I'm gonna go, I'll be back tomorrow, but, yeah, I want to bury him, but I want to make sure, I mean, I know he's gone, but I still want to make sure, so I don't want to be creepy. So when I pick him up, I don't want it to show, but that'll pretty much reveal whether or not he is gone, and which I think he's gone, so that will be creepy. Whoops. Alright. This reminds me of that Carol Burnett thing called The Funeral, where Robin Williams said, "Did he make any kind of noises?" And so I'm like, did I just hear a noise? And, okay. Oh, he's twitching. Okay. What? Yeah. Anyway, look that up. Carol Burnett, Robin Williams, The Funeral. It should be 10 minutes long. It's a very, very funny skit. Very funny. When I lost a friend, I cried so much that, and then my mom was like playing this thing, and she was like, "Jamie, come here, watch this." And I ended up being like, I would just be bawling, and then I would go in there and say, "Play that again," and then I'd start laughing, and then I'd go back to bawling, and it basically really helped me out of that. Because I mean, that was a real shock. And of course, death always is. It just comes up to you and says, "Table's ready." So it was it was good to watch that over and over and over. So I love Carol Burnett and Robin Williams because of that. So it's just the process I don't like seeing. So if you look that up, that's a good video. That made So I'm gonna go ahead and go now. I think, let's see. I'll make you look better. I'll make you look better. Hideous objector. Anyway, I do live stream every day. Today was kind of oh, I have to go somewhere tomorrow, but I'll still be around probably my same time period. And thank you for watching and subscribing. I appreciate that. And